Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 316 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news, culture, and gaming discussion podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and dying in the heat alongside me is the returning Daffin Moody.
I'm not dying so much because I had a nice cold shower before we did start this. So I was like, yeah. And the window's open, so there's a nice little breeze coming through. I'm pretty chill right now. I'm pretty chill. I've got a giant bottle of ice water.
Nice. I've got my juice. The water was cold, but the bottle of juice wasn't in the fridge, so it warmed the water up. Thanks. But it's fine. I've got ice pops and mint choc chip ice cream for after the podcast.
Yay, that sounds good.
It does.
I had my ice cream.
Oh, I'll let you know how it is. I'll take pictures.
No, it's all good. I've had mine. It's all good. I was like, this is good, even though it's kind of melting really fast.
Like me.
Get it down me now.
Where's my straw?
By the end, I was like,
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So who's missed me?
I missed you.
Yay, at least one of you has missed me. That's good.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Amy. Go on.
I've had some fucking epic co-hosts on, in these bits.
The last one was pretty darn good. I won't lie. The last one was pretty darn good.
Right?
If I remember rightly, Keith just sat there.
Keith didn't just sit there.
And Alpha's Elf, so she knows she's awesome. It's all good.
You're just salty because Keith still hasn't invited you to D&D yet.
That's true. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The guy's like TikTok, Keith, like TikTok.
Hashtag
TikTok.
Moody for D&D. I'm a convert to the hashtag only because it'll shut you up when it finally happens.
Oh, when your last week's guest retweeted it, hell yes.
The fact that we spent the first part of the podcast just talking about D&D, because it's like Vitz Patel, twitch.tv/Vitz Patel. He runs a D&D game every Sunday called Ethnic Squares. It's awesome. He's awesome. Like we've been Twitter mutuals for a bit. I think we connected via Joe Medforce, and we'll just constantly like each other's tweets, and occasionally reply to stuff. Like when he was playing Elden Ring, I was talking to him about Elden Ring, and then I was like, oh man, I need podcast co-host for the next 5 weeks. What I thought was 5 weeks.
That's true.
So I asked Vit, and then he could do last week. So then I was trying to get him for the week before. So then I was like, shit, I need a fucking co-host. My co-host that I was going to get on called COVID. So then I was like, shit, I need a co-host really badly. I got Keith. And then you messaged me 45 minutes after I'd confirmed that Vitz was coming on. It was like, I could do this. And I was like, why don't you take the week off?
When I could actually do it, she says take the weekend off.
I was like, I've just
take it off.
I've never met this guy before, face to face or anything. It was the first time we'd spoken to each other.
Yeah.
He was great. I love that shit, man.
Yeah. I know. I can't remember if I've met him through Fixer. I can't fully remember.
He's a kind of funny. What are they called? Best friend. Yes.
Groupies. I call them groupies. People. Fans. Yes. But no, yeah. I think I honestly, I'm terrible at remembering things anyway. So if I have actually met you in EGX and I've forgotten, I deeply apologize for that, mate. But but I'm terrible at remembering things anyway.
To be fair to that statement, in your defense, I forgot we met at an EGX.
What, you and me?
You and me, because for me, before we started hanging out, because you were on my stream when I came out, and then we hung out on your podcast for a bit, and then we hung out on my podcast for a bit. And before all of that, you were the guy who, without fail, emailed the podcast every week with a question. And I was like, I don't know this person, but Like, I am thankful for this person because they always give us something to talk about.
Because, I think I was the only person sending emails in for the longest time for that podcast for my Xbox and me. But I'm so happy to see that they are now don't need me to send emails in, and they get emails in or questions through Discord or whatever all the time now, which is fantastic. I was like, I can't carry this forever, but I will try.
Lord of the Rings style. I can't carry the podcast, but I can carry you.
Then I just throw you over. I just throw you into the lava. I'm just like, I'm not taking the risk. Yeah. You're going in with the ring, guys.
where Sam's like, throw it, and he's like, no. It's like he would have just been like, well, fuck you. Then he would just kicked me off the lava, the edge of the thing.
I would have took you to the edge and just said, throw it. If you didn't throw it, I would have said, you know what's going to happen if you don't. You know that, right? But no, yeah, EGX. Long time ago. Hopefully may go one time again in the future, but
who knows? I think I need to have a less than 99% chance that I'm going to catch a dangerous virus like before I'll be like consider going back to EGX.
That's fair.
That's just me though. That's just me. You know, I don't want to catch a debilitating disease.
Well, how unreasonable. I might have to go for work, so I don't know.
There's a difference, though.
Yeah, that's true. So yes, I am not going to announce where I'm going, but I have left Sony. I've left PlayStation. It was... I cried. They cried. We hugged. They gave me nothing. They kind of pushed me out, really.
You didn't get that VR headset, then?
No, I did not. Yes, I did not. I was going to say something, but I thought,
don't do it. Always err on the side of caution. Don't do it. When we're recording.
It's I'll say this as much as like PlayStation does. Sometimes in the bad. Sometimes when it comes to the news stories and everything, like one really juicy news dropped during my time there, which I will say. I can confirm, Amy knows this. I received that fucking email.
Yeah, it's true.
And there was a reason why I couldn't talk about it, because obviously I was working with them and everything like that. But I'll say this. I read it and I went, this ain't gonna go down well. Finished work. This did not go down well. I was just like, wow, shit.
Opens Twitter. Anyway. Jesus, Amy's losing her mind.
Yeah, something like that. But no, yeah, it's the place I was at, PlayStation Liverpool, was absolutely amazing. The team I worked with, I love them to bits. I learned so much from them. It's because of them that I've got the new job I'm going to be going to, and yeah, this is going to change. I'll say this: I am moving. This will change. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to move.
Don't do that. You'll see,
but yeah,
because I'm gonna sneakily. Don't tell him, podcast listeners. But I'm gonna sneakily, like, just slowly move into his spare room. Every time I come down to visit, more stuff will just accidentally stay there. You can't get away from me that easily.
But I am back on the podcast. I might miss the week that I'm moving. I'm not really sure. There is that chance.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I know you're back more or less now, and that's awesome. Like, 8 months later, we could finally start, like, maybe he's doing that plan where we were going to have, like, a rotating third chair. But I'm already in my head being like, he's going to miss 1 week or 2 weeks while he's moving. Like, and that's fucking fine. Take all the time you need. I know where you're moving to. It's not close. But you know when you tell everyone like what job you've got and where you're going to work and stuff, are you going to do that thing that everybody in the games industry does, where you record yourself like updating your Twitter bio?
I don't know how to do that.
Neither do I. It fucking infuriates me. Like, I don't know how to capture my screen like that. I wish I did.
Joe Moran did it. I saw him do it.
Right,
I've seen him do it.
Him.
I might have to message him and say, yo, Joe, how did you do this? Show us your ways, sir. Show us your ways.
Yeah, Joe did do
Show
that.
us the force.
Yes.
But no, yeah. But no, yeah, it's I'm very excited to where I'm going. There's no doubt about that. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for you to continue to. I mean, as much as I take the piss when you're not here, and I do take the piss when you're not here. Like, I'm very excited. Apart from episode 300, when you expected me to take the piss, and me and Joe just had a really heartfelt congratulations to you. But that was the one that you got, and then all like 12 episodes after that.
It was piss.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for you to be like living out a dream, like you doing what you're doing, like is helping me to like do things that I want to do over things that I was just doing because that's what I was doing and I didn't know any better. So like from a completely selfish perspective, on top of being like really happy for you, I'm also really like you have affected me in that way. So.
I do that. I infect people.
It's true.
Ask my former employees. Literally, when I caught COVID, I was off. 3 people caught COVID as well. We don't know if it was from me, but the assumption was by the end it was from me. So I'm just like, well.
Are we revisiting that Amy never caught COVID until Moody went to PlayStation? Coincidence?
Physically close to you. Oh, it was interesting. That was interesting. I won't lie. like one of them was my team leader. I made sure I was 2 meters away from the bugger when I asked him, "Can I go home? Because I'm dying right now." And he went, "Yeah, no worries. Just make sure you get everything like that." And I cleaned everything down, wiped everything I could to what I touched that I thought of. I found out he was off the same time. Thinking, oh shit, 2 more people. Thinking, oh man.
I mean, if people were off at the same time as you were off, you probably all got it. You probably all got it from the same place. That was you.
So my partner.
Maybe.
I caught it from her.
It can take up to like 2 weeks to get you. So I'm trying to help you out here. It might not be your fault.
I don't care. Deep down, I don't care. Right away.
I'm gonna blame myself anyway.
Oh yeah, no, it was yeah. I do love that place, and I look forward to hearing what they do next and everything like that. But yeah, cracking team, a cracking team.
Awesome, glad to hear it.
But I'm back, bitches.
Back, he's back. The podcast is whole again. I don't know. I've never been in this situation where someone's gone and come back. Everybody just goes.
And never comes back.
And comes back once a year, maybe.
Once a year, yeah.
Or never.
So has Keith done his ones this year now? He's covered for next
Pretty
year
much.
now?
He's been on it. Well, he was on it once last year. And I said, you're welcome back anytime. He never came back. And then... And then we've done it once this year, and he said the same thing, like, come back anytime. We'll see what happens. That's all I can say.
You should just stop saying that. At least
I've got to say it. He was one of the founding podcast members. I got to say it when I'm at least out of politeness, even if I don't mean it, but I do mean it. Just to be clear, I do mean it.
Yes.
Again, you're just salty because he hasn't messaged you yet. It's coming, all right? It's coming.
I don't think he wants me on because he just knows I'm going to throw something at him instantly on it.
Well, he's a DM,
what do you do in your first world? A 6. Okay, I pick up my dagger and throw it at Keith.
Keith is the DM, so technically that would be like, I'm going to try and kill God.
Yes. I'm going to try and kill God.
He instantly runs off.
I watched Thor: Love and Thunder. There is a God killer in it. I will get his weapon and use it.
Interesting. I would say, how's it going? But I know how it's going because you just told me. So,
Amy, just think this: we're like 2 weeks away from Lower Decks season 3.
I know. I can't wait. I've rewatched it.
Ever. I did.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Had to happen.
It had to. It had to. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I'm trying to think of something. Oh, the Lord of the Rings thing's coming out. I'm not really that bothered about that.
Lord of the Rings.
Something else coming out. Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings.
Game of Thrones. The House of the Dragon. It's got Matt Smith in it, and I have to watch it. That's Matt Smith in it.
That's fair. For you, I get that. That's totally fair.
Like, Matt Smith's my doctor, man. I have to watch my doctor. I watched The Queen or Crown because of him, and he was playing a deplorable character, but I don't care. He is great.
Was he in a Terminator film as well?
Yeah, he was in it for like 5 minutes.
Oh wow, really?
We do not talk. Yeah, it was Genesis, I think. Genesis.
Oh,
Genesis?
it was spelled with a Y though. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. It's terrible. Even though it's terrible.
I heard that.
Yeah. Even though Arnold's amazing in it. I love Arnold because I'm just an Arnold guy in general. But he's in it for like he's literally in it as himself in body for one scene, and then he's a voice at the end. A computer voice at the end. I've just spoiled a little bit of the movie there, but I don't really care. It's that bad of a movie. Oh, I'll tell a movie though that everybody should see. Prey. Check out Prey. The brand new Predator. Amy, I think you will love it.
It's already on my list.
Yeah, that's a long ass list. So I will speak about it in 2 years' time with you then.
Exactly.
I don't mean that in a nasty way.
Well, if somebody hadn't cancelled their movie podcast, it might force me to watch some more movies. That's what I did, but no.
Don't use me an excuse.
I used to use an excuse. The only reason I watched Avengers, the only reason I kept up with the MCU for as long as I did was because I always kept coming on your podcast to review Marvel movies.
You reviewed Infinity War and Endgame. You didn't have to...
Exactly!
But no, Prey, check that out. It is fucking awesome. I'm just going to say, I watched it and I was just like, this is amazing.
It's on my list. I went to pre-order a new book from Waterstones on Friday. Sequel to the book I just finished reading, which is called the Jasmine Throne. And it's very... No, it's not famous. It's famous in certain book circles because it's... I wrote it on Instagram, how I had that book described to me, which sold me on it, which is morally grey lesbians burn down the patriarchy in fantasy India. And I was like, well, I have to read this book now. So I did, and it was awesome. And then I was like, I'm going to go and pre-order the sequel because it comes out on Thursday. So it's like, all right, I don't have to wait long then. And I was pre-ordering it from Waterstones, and the woman behind the counter, I was like, oh, I said, I want to pre-order this book, and I told her what it was. She went, all right. And then she typed it into a computer, and then she must have seen the book before it, and then been like, oh, it's a sequel to that book. And she was like, oh my God, I've got this, but I haven't read it yet. And so we're talking about it, and she just goes, how's the sapphic romance? And I was like, it's real fucking good. And then I just got to talk about lesbians for like 10 minutes.
I won't lie, when you were about to explain the book, I was just going to say to myself, she's going to say lesbians, and we know she's going to bring in lesbians, and I love it even more because he was just like, Amy's just like, okay, sell me on this book. It's got lesbians in it.
It's got lesbians in it. It takes a little bit, not much more than that, but a little bit more than that, and sell me.
And they also take down a capitalism, basically.
They burn the patriarchy down. And also, it's set in fantasy India. Love it. You love to see it. It's a great book. To be fair, it is a really good book.
Very good, very good.
And hopefully, I'll be picking up the sequel on Thursday, and then I'll read that. And it's a trilogy, so I have to wait probably like a year for the third one.
No.
But it's just how it be sometimes. Everything. I've noticed that like 80% of all books are like part of a series.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's what
only happens.
Before we jump into the podcast, I'll tell you what I am gonna watch soon. Once I finish Paper Girls, I'm gonna finally watch the final season of The Expanse.
Oh shit!
Because I have to, because I bought the first book. It's behind me now.
Yeah. I've been tempted to get the audibles for it because I prefer to audible than read and everything. So
yeah, that's fair. Like, oh, it's not behind. Wait, what the fuck is it?
Don't worry about it.
No, there it is.
Yeah. Oh crap!
So I'm gonna have to watch. I can't. It was like Game of Thrones. I started watching Game of Thrones. Like I can't read the book while I'm currently watching the series because the two things will just get confused in my head. So it's like I have to finish the series before I can read that. And I've heard it's some stuff. Let's just say that. Come on,
I'll say this on my behalf. I personally really, really enjoyed the season. That being said, it's a travesty that they lowered it to 6 episodes. They should have kept it at 10.
Okay.
Yeah. The first seasons are all with 10 episodes, if I remember rightly. Yeah. It needed an extra 4 episodes. I won't deny that.
What is it with things doing that? Like so many
it's the money that they're given at the end of the day. It's just the companies at the end of the day just saying we can only give you this amount of money. What can you do with that? And at the end of the day, they just said, well, we can do probably 6 episodes with it. And that's what they've decided to.
Oh, you Stranger Things. And you go, we're going to do 9 episodes instead of 8. And you go, all right, cool. And every episode is going to be the length of a film. What?
That was so good. I loved it.
I enjoyed it, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Watching those last 2 episodes was a commitment.
Yeah, it was literally like watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition.
Fuck. It's still good. It's like, oh man, like we've hit like this massive like climax of like a storyline, and then you look at it and you think, how long's left? 2 hours. Did you just say 2 hours?
Yeah. The thing is for me though, because I had no effing idea whatsoever, and I don't know how I missed it whatsoever. I literally thought this season was the final season of it.
No.
So Phil, I'm going in like
it must have been a marketing thing because Phil said the same thing. He thought this was the final season, and it was like, no, there's another season. Like there will be another season.
Yeah. So I must have missed it, but either way, I'm gonna be fascinated to see what you think of The Expanse.
Cool. Maybe back here in a couple of weeks. I'm on holiday, like not this week, but next. So I'm planning on catching up on my binge in a bit. There's a few things I need to check out. But let's get the show. Let's start the show.
Yes, this is not the movie podcast thing you want me to restart to so you can watch movies again.
This is the Words About Games podcast. Every Monday you can get a video version of the show on youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk or an audio version on a variety of platforms including Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. There's timestamps in the description wherever you choose to get your podcast so you can watch what we've been chatting about. You can skip around or you can watch the entire podcast backwards if you like. We don't mind. We're just happy that you're here. If you'd like to support the show or our content directly, you can buy us a coffee over at coffee.com/wordsaboutgames. I don't care how many people can pronounce it coffee. I am not going to do that. Lastly, when the heat dies down, if you want to hang out with us while we play some games, head over to twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. I have not been in a fit. I can't do it. We've been recording for 20 just over 20 minutes. Really. Look at my head. Look at my head.
Yeah.
Now imagine
I'm dry.
Now imagine like 4 hours of this. I can't do it. Fuck this fucking weather. It's supposed to be like a thunder and lightning storm like sometime tonight. I'm going to stand outside. I'm going to recreate the Shawshank Redemption.
Me and Sophia, we watched No Way Home last night. And there's like obviously the scene, obviously, after a certain thing happens, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker is on a wall, on a building, and the rain's coming down and everything. You hear JJ John in the background and everything like that. And we're just like, me and Sophia were just like, when it rains, we're doing that. Right. We're just going to stand there ominously, emotionally broken, while getting
it's like
cooled down by the rain.
And while I'm on the subject of heatwave and heat-related phenomena, fuck you, Keith, for making the final boss of our D&D campaign a fucking fire-breathing, fire-exploding phoenix in the middle of a fucking heatwave. I'm sitting there, like, imagining, like, oh, yeah, it's really hot. It's really hot. It's like, it is really hot. Like, stop making me imagine that it's even hotter than it actually is. Keith, please. Fuck! Anyway. You listen
Keith is clearly a masochist.
He is a man. No, he inflicts pain on. Right, ask him to show you some of his DM t-shirts because he's got like DM t-shirts, like Dungeons & Dragons t-shirts. Some of them are pretty sadistic. You listened last week. You must have done. You've referenced it already. So, we had a chat at the beginning of that podcast about, like, me being like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I think it's this.
Yes.
So, we're doing what we've been playing this week. I'm bringing it back. We talked about it, that we used to do it a long time ago, and why we stopped doing it. And then I think it's time to bring it back. And we're going to do that. Sometimes it'll be short. Sometimes it might be long. Sometimes it might be like the entire first part of a podcast. Sometimes it might not even turn up because we haven't played anything this week.
True. That's fair.
But it's just, we have a nice casual chat about games, because this is the Words About Games podcast. As people keep pointing out at me, it's a gaming podcast. Maybe you should talk about some games.
And we don't talk about games for at least 45 minutes until we
start off. We talk about D&D and books and films and TV shows, and then we talk about capitalism and the patriarchy and NFTs and sexism and racism and feminism
and lesbians.
And then I'm like, okay, and then I give you a list of the games out, and then everyone's like, wait. Why is it called the Words About Games podcast? I'm just kidding. But we're bringing it up in this episode because I've actually played a game this week.
So far?
Is it the same game? It's the same game, right?
Same game?
2 Point Campus.
Oh, mine was a lesbian game.
That was a lesbian game? I didn't know that. Wait, I was playing a lesbian game too. I'm making a video about it.
Yeah, so we played the same game, 2 Point Campus.
Yes. Yeah, we played 2 Point Campus. Like, I'm vexed, really, because it's such a good game. But all I want to do is play the sandbox, and you have to complete like 4 levels before you can unlock it. And I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, first, I understand why they've done it, but it's just like, come on, guys. Just like, if people want to, just let people just play how they want to play, type of thing. Just like, you don't lock something behind something just so you can teach them how to play the game. Because it pretty much, I'm just gonna say, it plays pretty much like 2 Point Hospital. So,
you can just add those tutorials into the sandbox. You can turn them on or off or whatever.
Yeah. They just locking something behind something just it is irritating, and I completely understand where you're coming from. I do hope you will proceed to get past it so you can get through it.
I want to get into the sandbox and I'll be, when I do, you'll know about it because I'll be sending non-stop screenshots like, look at what I built.
Can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome.
This is the lesbian wing. We found our theme for this week's podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Actually, should be that.
It should be, shouldn't it? Yeah. But yes, this is a really great game. There's no doubt about it. And so what do we expect in the game? Even though it is 2 Point Hospital, just with a canvas skin on it, I don't care. It's charming and it's adorable. It's just really fun just to chill and build a canvas, which I thought would be fun, but I didn't think it would be this fun for some weird reason. But they just do it in such a unique way to make it charming and fun. And I really have enjoyed what I've played so far, which is great to see. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, like for me, like aside from the issue that I was just talking about, and the fact that one of the levels bugged, which caused me to lose all my stuff. The 2 Point Hospital was a great game, but because it was just Theme Hospital remade, I was like, when they announced 2 Point Campus, I was like, I'm excited because the hospital one was a great game, but this one's going to be new. Like, I'm not building a hospital, which I've done in that old game. Like, I'm going to be building like a campus. And I was like, oh, this could be great. Like, thinking about all the different ways, like you could have like a campus. And yeah, it is. It's really great. Like it makes me laugh, and I enjoy it. It's aesthetically satisfying to like fit everything where you're going to put it, and then like, oh, we need to start an entirely new course, which is going to require like 5 extra buildings. Like, right, cool. Now I'm going to buy this plot of land, and I'm going to like strategically move everything across and create I put way too much thought and planning into
So do
how I build. This is why I don't like the level thing where I have to keep starting over, because it's like I put a lot of thought into what I'm doing. And I need it to
just
be
let me
permanent.
do it in the sandbox way and just leave me.
I don't want to have to build a bloody dormitory 4 times.
That's fair. That is fair.
But I like the fact that like there's cool stuff like you can copy rooms, because like when you have to like make another like lecture theater, you can just copy the one you've already got.
Yeah.
And then just put it somewhere. And I was like, that's a fucking godsend, being able to like copy entire rooms and just drop them in.
You could do it with hospitals. So
yeah, you can. I didn't really like engage with hospital a lot. Like I played a bit. I played it a bit, and then I was like, this is a really good game. But
I only ever touched hospital when it came to Game Pass on console, which is crazy to think.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. When it came to Game Pass, and and then I did play it on PC, and I was just like, it's just it. Yes, I'll say this. I know PC players are gonna love it when I say this. Yes, it plays a lot more better on PC. I know, but I don't care.
Yeah,
It still played really well on console with a controller. I thought it did a very good job on that. But yeah,
it's awesome. I've also been playing Unpacking, but not playing Unpacking. I mean, like the really good thing about Unpacking is, so I played it obviously, and then before I wrote an entire script about it, and I played it once before, and now like. It's so good to be able to like, because I'm making this video, right? And if I say something in the video, like that's like, oh, like you can do this in the game, or this happens in the game. It's like, and I don't have any footage of it because I've got like 6 hours of fucking footage of it already, and sometimes going through it can be difficult. Like, I can just load the game up, and because of the type of game it is, I could just go in and just catch the footage I need. Like. I made a joke. I talked about it I tweeted about it where I was like, I made a joke about a toaster, and I was like, I can just go into Unpacking and spend like 2 minutes recording the thing I need. It's such a nice way to make a video, because like every other video like this I've made in the past, like Bloodborne and Dark Souls and Control and stuff, the footage I've got is the footage I've got. Like if I need something specific, like it would be nice to have something specific. For like Bloodborne, I'd have to play like all the way through Bloodborne to get to that one bit, to get that one specific bit of footage, and so it never happened. Whereas in Unpacking, I think about a dozen times this week I've gone, oh, it'd be really good if I had this. And I've just done it.
Yeah.
But it's a great game.
That's good to hear. I really enjoyed the game and everything like that, but to hear what you've gone through with it is incredible. The only other game I've played is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Oh, shock. I'm shocked.
The game will not let go of me, Amy.
Fair.
It really hasn't. It's disgusting. I'm going to throw up my Steam page. I want to have a look.
How many hours?
How many hours I've got on this thing. Fair. It is probably disgusting.
That's fair.
Okay,
while you're looking up that, I was going to play the cat game Stray this week.
Yeah,
but, it will be next week when it's cooler and I can, because I want to stream it. Seems like a good streaming game.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until that comes to disc. And
that's fair.
Because Boomerang have it on, so I'm gonna get that on disc. So I'm gonna get it for disc.
I just bought PS Plus Extra for a month to get it.
Oh fuck yeah! I forgot about that. So I don't actually need to do that. I can just pay like.
Turns out the PS Plus Extra library is actually really good.
Oh yeah,
I'm planning a lot of retrospectives, and I'm like, okay, like at least I know like these games currently are in this, so like I can, if I want to play these games, I can get them. How many hours have you played Master Duel for?
122 hours.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, not as much as I thought it was going to be, which is very surprising.
That's about. I thought you were going to say
it's more than Among
hours.
Us.
Yeah, so yeah,
oh shit!
My Faz playtime is finally overtaken my Among Us playtime now.
Yeah, because you guys have continued to play. I haven't even touched the new update yet. I was like, oh my god! I remember when I left, when we last played together. I know I had more levels than Ryan. I know I'm nowhere near that anymore, and I know I am.
No,
like you're probably 100 levels ahead of me now.
I don't know. I'm over 300.
You're probably over 100 levels. Fucking hell, man.
But no, we found like a new way to play. Like we play with candles, and Ryan played it in VR a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so I heard
he says
that.
he's going to do it again. So I'm like, yeah, cool. Well, I need to get the big scare on him. Like he said, it was interesting when a little girl ghost ran through his legs, and because he was in VR, it ran through his legs, and that was pretty funny.
I can believe that.
But we never got the big fright where he like fell over or threw up or something. You know, it's like that's what I'm going for. And to be fair, it was like. I would say, he knows this because in the stream I was telling him, like, we have to go for the big one, right? And I need you to, like, fall over or some shit because we had his camera up on the stream. I was like, you have to I want you to pass out.
Jesus. The good thing about me moving everything like that, I'm going to have space where I'll be able to use my VR headset, so I'm good about that. That does not mean I'm going to play Faz in it.
No, but I have a better idea. Once I get a VR headset again, I've got a better idea.
It's a shame Facebook just put the price up on them.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for PlayStation to see what they do for their headset, because I might get that one instead. We'll see what it is.
Well, there's pictures out there.
You know what?
We know what it looks like. Yeah.
I know what it looks like.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to be the $300 mark.
I'm in. It's the controllers. That's all I need to know, like how the controllers work, because the Move controllers were awful. But again, there'll be a reveal. We'll have a whole thing. We'll probably end up talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of podcast, shall we continue?
Get to the news at long last?
I like talking about games.
So do I. We are the Words About Games podcast, after all.
Let's talk about games we've played. No, not on this podcast.
Let's get political and talk about companies and capitalism. Oh, wait.
This isn't political. Wait, is everything? Yeah, okay. This bit isn't political. Microsoft claims Sony pays for blocking rights to keep games off Xbox Game Pass. This is from Tom Warren over at The Verge. He writes, Microsoft has claimed Sony pays for blocking rights to stop developers from adding their content to Xbox Game Pass. The explosive claims are part of documents filed with Brazil's national competition regulator and part of a review of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Quote, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been hampered by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth, end quote. Claims Microsoft in an August 9th filing to the Administrative Council for Economic Defense, CADE. As translated from Portuguese, quote, Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services, end quote. It's not clear exactly what Microsoft is referring to, but contracts for publishing games can be complex, particularly when rights for streaming and subscription services are involved. Documents filed in the Epic Games v. Apple trial last year revealed Microsoft had been considering lowering the revenue split for PC games, quote, in exchange for the grant of streaming rights to Microsoft, end quote. If Microsoft had proceeded with its plans, that could have led to the company securing exclusive streaming rights on some games, preventing them from being available on rival streaming services. It all depends on how publishing contracts are written, and both Microsoft and Sony regularly secure game exclusives that involve timed releases, console exclusivity, and lots of marketing dollars. Microsoft is attempting to convince Brazil's CADE regulator that it should wave through the company's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. While the Federal Trade Commission is analysing documents from Microsoft on its acquisition in the US, that correspondence is private. That's not the case in Brazil, where its competition regulator offers up public documents that provide unique insight into the business competition between Microsoft and Sony.
When I saw this, I was just like, are we surprised here?
Yeah, I saw this headline, right? Like, maybe it's not this specific one, but I was like, this is the thing. This is the story as it's appearing on Twitter. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing so many people are going to get mad about on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
In game.
At the end of the day, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it, yeah. And it is. It's just like, come on, guys, are you really not surprised by this? Like, I'm not whatsoever. Like, Sony are literally a billion-dollar company fighting against a trillion-dollar company here. They have to do something to try and slow it. That's just how it is. how it is in the business and everything, and that's what they're going to go for. And if they want to play dirty, let the buggers play dirty. I don't really care.
I don't even know if it's like playing dirty all that much. It's like, oh, you're paying like developers to stop them putting games on Game Pass. All right, cool. Like, there's a reason like a bunch of day one game releases in Game Pass only come out on PC, Xbox, and Switch, or PC and Xbox. It's because they're being paid to not come out on PlayStation. Like, shoot, or the fuck.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, like, I get this is newsworthy, and I get like it's a fun thing to talk about. But when I saw people losing their shit about this, I was just like, what the fuck did you what do you think's going on behind the scenes at Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo? Like,
yeah, but it's only newsworthy because of how it's been written and how the title is and everything. That's the only thing. Is like you literally just said, each company buys exclusives so they don't go on other consoles. Or you know, that's what they do. And everything. Like, you think Stray is not going to go on Xbox eventually? It is, but it'll probably be a year's time or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. Like, it's like
like, I'm really looking forward to the big Xbox holiday release, which is going to be fucking Deathloop.
Exactly.
Which
was an exclusive on PlayStation.
It's an exclusive on PlayStation because they're paying money for it.
Exactly.
Just like how like Death's Door came out on Xbox and not other platforms, and then eventually it came on all the platforms there. Unpacking came out in Xbox Game Pass and didn't come out on PlayStation until this year. This is how the industry works.
Exactly.
Epic Games and Steam, like Epic Games bought a bunch of exclusives so that games wouldn't go on Steam for a year. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not even I'm not. Why are we surprised by this? It's just, why are we spending so much time talking about this? Why is it anybody who goes, okay, whatever, is met with, no, you see, this is really bad for the industry because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, this is nothing new.
Okay. If you want to know what's really bad for the industry, and people may say, yeah, well, you're just a Sony shield because you used to work for them and everything like that. Fuck you, and I don't give a fuck. Microsoft buying acquisition is very bad. Not just for Sony or Nintendo, but for the fucking games industry. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft are very close of taking full control of the industry, and that's something what's not allowed to happen. They can't have the what's the word I'm trying to think
Monopoly.
of here? The monopoly of the industry. They're not allowed of this. That's why I don't think you're going to see any more acquisitions from Microsoft anymore after this.
Not at this level. Like, they've done the Bethesda, they've done the they're doing Activision Blizzard. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. But like, they might buy like really small studios, but they'll never be like, we're never going to wait. And hey, you know what? I will replay this clip on a future podcast if I am wrong. But we're never going to wake up and see that, oh, Microsoft just bought Ubisoft. Like, they're not going to be able, I don't think, to go for that level.
Tencent are going to do that.
Tencent are going to do it, great.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia is going to buy Square Enix, and everything is great and fine.
No, so I still stand by that Sony are buying Square. I still stand by that. And everything, but yeah, it's like that's the biggest worry. I know it was like the biggest thing that happened this year and everything when it came to acquisitions and whatnot, but it is really bad for the industry at the end of the day. I can understand why the American government are looking at this very, very hard and everything. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the industry and everything. And I can understand where Sony are like, we're going to lose one of the biggest IPs here, not biggest games that people play on our console, and they know that. So guys, like, I think I started at the beginning of the year of thinking, like, literally someone said, and I think I quoted them saying, begun the acquisition wars have. I think that's actually going to end pretty fast because of this
for a while.
Yeah, but not anything like that, because I think we're going to move into an IP acquisition fight. I think Microsoft is then going to move into buying IPs. To say, okay, you're not using this, can we buy it from you, type of thing.
That's what I've been wanting. So I don't like mergers and acquisitions for a lot of reasons that I said last week with Vit. We were talking about it last week. Like, I've been saying for a long time, though, I would love for, like, Microsoft to just, or Sony, or Nintendo, I don't give a fuck who, to just like back up a dump truck full of money at Konami's offices and just go, hey, you know that Silent Hill IP you're not using? Like, that's what I just want to happen. People using other people's IPs that they're not using, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like
Love
Dino
that.
Crisis.
Like Dino Crisis.
It's right there. Not you, Microsoft. We saw what you did with it last time.
Nintendo. Yeah, you're not allowed. Sorry. Nintendo. Nintendo. There was a game that came out a few years ago, Cadence of Hyrule, which was like a Zelda spin-off, made by the developers who made Crypt of the Necro Dancer. And I remember at the time, I played it. It was awesome. That's beside the point. Like, I remember at the time just being like, oh man, Nintendo's gonna like let indie developers like make stuff with their IPs. That's gonna be so fucking sick. Like, we're gonna get like we could get like potentially like a Mario game, but then we could get a Mario style game like not made by like a cool indie developer, and it never happened. Never materialized. It was that one game, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man, that would be so cool if like you just like gave like cool indie developers the chance to make like takes on Dino Crisis.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's what we're moving into, and everything like that. This the first, like the beginning story, it means nothing, and it's not that important. And anyone who thinks it is just like, I'm sorry, you don't know what this you do not know the industry whatsoever. Then,
yeah, he does. He works in it. Yeah, no, and as for like the developers getting like paid to not put their stuff on PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo and stuff, fucking get paid. Like, do it. I love to see it.
It's actually good for the developers.
It's like I say with all the Xbox exclusivity stuff, the Epic exclusivity stuff that we talked about. I was like, fucking get the money. Take that money, guys. Like,
yeah,
you fucking deserve it. Get paid for your work. It's great. Love to see it. Oh no, she's pro game developer. How dare she?
Wait, what? We're allowed to do that?
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but this podcast is anti-games industry, but pro-game developer.
That's true.
It's a nice line to walk. Speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft is bringing Minecraft Legends, Lies of P, and a bunch more to Gamescom. This is from Andy Chalk over at Eurogamer. No, he's not. This is from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. He writes, Microsoft has announced its plans for the upcoming Gamescom 2022 showcase taking place later this month in Cologne, Germany. This year's event will be Microsoft's first in-person showing at Gamescom since 2019, but for the benefit of those who can't attend, which, let's be honest, is most of us, it will also offer a live stream presentation that will include interviews and gameplay from multiple studios and games. The Xbox booth at Gamescom live stream will begin at 5 a.m. PT, 8 a.m. ET on August 25th and run until 11 a.m. PT/2 p.m. ET. So, 6 hours. Along with English language broadcast, the event will also be available in German, French, Polish, Italian, Spanish, Latin American, and Castilian, Brazilian, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese simplified, along with ASL, BSL, and DGS interpretation in English audio descriptions. A detailed schedule will be released closer to Gamescom, but this is, quote, a taste of what to expect, end quote. So it's a bullet point of the games that they've announced, and there'll be more. So we've got Microsoft Flight Simulator, Gunfire Reborn, Sea of Thieves, Lies of P, High on Life, Grounded, Pentiment, A Plague Tale Requiem, Minecraft Legends, Planet of Lana, and Age of Empires 4.
How much are you hoping for a Planet of Lana release date?
I don't think it'll get one. Not at this. Maybe at the Jeff Keighley Fun Time Spectacular, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Are we reacting to that? Do you want to?
Yes. I have been downloading the clips from June and starting to like think about editing them into.
Oh, so you saw my alien one again?
No, not the alien one, Moody. When The Rock turned up and I went to sleep. Or when it was like when the fourth horror shooter action game came on and we started playing with our Star Trek models. That's what I'm more thinking, like, yeah, let's get that.
I still want my alien thing in there.
Oh, your alien thing's going in. If I think your alien thing's probably going to be the first clip, I'm not going to lie.
You need screaming right from the beginning.
Like we'll talk about Microsoft in a second. I think Gamescom opening night live is going to have the same energy as Summer Games Fest.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, 2 hours long.
And I
think he said like there's 50 games or something else they're going to show.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there as well. I was like, when we did the pre-3 podcast and I was talking to Tori, I literally said, I don't think Summer Games Fest is going to be that good. And it wasn't. I don't think Gamescom opening night live is going to be that good.
Yep. Well, I've got Star Trek ships right in front of me if we need to fire.
I'm gonna set myself up a little bit on my desk with like some shit to do. But no, like this list is pretty cool. Like I like the idea that like they're treating it like E3, but not like the press conference part, the part that was missing this year, where it's like, and now we're gonna like have a 6-hour live stream where it's like we see all these games and like you can tune in and out and see what games you want to see and interviews and gameplay and developers talking about them and stuff. Planet of Lana and Lies of P, they both interest me as being on this list because like Xbox's stuff, like their E3s and whatever else is like their gameplay showcases and stuff have generally been geared towards Game Pass games. Like I think for at least the last year, like it's like everything you're about to see is in Game Pass, and I don't know if it's been announced that those games are in Game Pass, but now I'm like, are these in Game Pass? Also, yeah, I would like Planet of Lana release date for my fantasy critic team. Well, I'm not that worried about it because I'm like 60 points ahead of Elfie.
I'm catching you. Don't worry.
I know. And it's good job my next game isn't The Last of Us or anything. And also because I want to play it because it looks fucking sick.
I think I'm hoping for Pentiment.
Pentiment, yeah. Pentiment, like I want to see more of that game because it looks really interesting. Like the Xbox E3 showcase was good show. If we're settling into this rhythm where E3 is the show for Xbox where they go, here's all like the games that are coming out within the next 12 months, and it's like bam bam game with like maybe like one or two like big gameplay reveals like we got with Redfall and Starfield. And then like it's like, okay, and then in a couple of months we're gonna do Gamescom, and that's where you're gonna see like the big gameplay breakouts for like Pentiment and Planet of Lana and Hollow Knight. That'd be nice.
It was pretty crazy that the first time you see it was on Nintendo, the second time you see it,
and we wait years.
Xbox.
We wait literal years where I'm like, please Nintendo, give it to me. Every time there's a direct, I'm like, I need it, and then just out of fucking nowhere.
so you know what that means? Like the next PlayStation thing is gonna have Hollow Knight, right? Yeah. Just to complete the circle.
Why not? They gave me a taste. That's the problem, Moody. They gave me a taste. I need more. I don't give a shit if it doesn't come out this year. I just want to see more of it.
That's true. But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be just fun just like to react to like obviously Summer Games Fest, but
we're not doing this because it's a 6-hour stream. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. We're not reacting to a 6-hour stream.
I ain't doing it. No, even I wouldn't do that. But no, I think it's just good. I think they do the right balance when it comes to how they talk about it, but they're also going to show gameplay. Not like Jeff Keighley, they show gameplay and then stand there and talk and look at each other, trying to look at each other lovingly, but it doesn't work. Yeah, because it gets creepy.
Like I like this idea that you can split those two shows in half in two different shows, because I think you need to keep the energy and the pace up when you're doing a reveals driven showcase, which is what E3 was. Yeah. And you can slow it down a couple of times, like they did again with Redfall and Starfield. But for the most part, you do need to be like quite snappy and quite quick. And then to say, okay, boom, here's a 6-hour show. It's going to be in August. And it's going to have like 20-minute slots of like all these different games. I don't know if it's 20 minutes. That's just me spitballing. And I love that. I love that as a concept. Because everybody wins.
Sure. Everybody wins. A W for you. A W for you. W for everyone.
W.
But Amy, it's that halftime show.
It's that halftime show. I'm gonna die.
Indie game of the week. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm still pretty dry. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Moody, I can have my window open. I have a window open, right? 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whenever I started or editing the unpacking video, and I swear to God, I'm not even. I'll exaggerate. I exaggerate a lot. I'm not exaggerating when I say there was a dog barking out in someone's garden for an hour. For an hour.
Begging for some water.
I don't know why. There was a dog out there. It was barking for an hour, and I was just like, do I need to call someone? Do I need to call like Animal Protective Services or something? Like, what the fuck is happening? This dog's been going non-stop and nobody's come out. But yeah, that's just what it's like if I open that window. It's like a wall of noise. It's great, really, for doing.
I hope it isn't as bit noisy on my end. In my new place.
Fingers crossed. But yes, it's time. Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing that we do in the middle of every podcast every week where we talk about a cool-looking, upcoming indie game. This week's Indie Game of the Week is BLINNK with 2 N's. And the vacuum, so it's BLINNK in the vacuum of space. And the store description says, "Welcome to the first day of your new life on the remote space station Norpopolis, where everyone is a happy employee of the intergalactic conglomerate Norp Corp." See what I did there. "Today, the station's beloved mayor and CEO, Mr. Norp, has demanded one thing and one thing only: the greatest sandwich in the galaxy. But after the sandwich-creating experiment goes wrong, mischievous lab creatures called Groobs escape across Norpopolis. Along with your bumbling robot companion BLINNK, you are tasked with hunting down the pesky Groobs and bringing them back to the lab before Mr. Norp discovers the truth. Venture through the colourful world of Norpopolis on a quest to recapture those pesky Groobs. After grabbing your trusty Vacuumizer 5000, you'll go undercover in a number of seemingly ordinary situations to find them, including the colourful concert hall, verdant Norpopolis Park, and the bustling spaceport. Encounter vibrant station residents like Nasal, the stubborn dentist, and Stike, the hyper-organised park ranger. Made for autistic people with autistic people, BLINNK in the vacuum of space is handmade to support and enhance the experience of neurodiverse users. Reams of accessibility features allow for deep customization of the sound and visuals of your experience. Each level offers exciting and stress-free versions of everyday interactions without any fear of discouragement. This is being developed and published by Changing Day and is coming fall 2022 to Steam VR and MetaQuest. There is a link to the Steam store page in the description if you want to go and have a look at the game, watch the trailer, read the stuff, wishlist the game. Always wishlist the game. It really supports the developers. Cool game.
That sounds awesome. Like I say, we always looking out for some cool games to play, so I can't wait.
Hell yeah. You can play it. You have a thing. You have a MetaQuest. I don't. I'm going to be coming around your house to play it. This is while I'm stealthily moving in to your spare room. But I mean, did you leave your computer here? No? What are you talking about? Oh, no, it's not here. I guess I better come and get it. And then that's when I bring the last of my stuff over. And the next thing you know, we're doing a podcast in a mini spare room.
It is a mini spare room.
Probably hotter than this room.
It would be for all electronics.
But yeah, this looks like a cool game. Go wishlist it. Go follow the devs on social media. Just go do all those things. If you have a VR headset, maybe keep an eye out for the game. Fall 2022.
Back to the news.
I'm glad you're here because, like, you're keeping me on track as I melt body, mind, and soul. Everything is melting right now. Nintendo has no plans to increase Switch price, quote, at this point, end quote. This is from Justin Reeve over at The Gamer. He writes, President at Nintendo, Shuntaro Furukawa, recently described how the company has no plans to increase the price of the Switch at this point in order to, quote, avoid pricing people out, end quote. This comes in the wake of news that the Switch sales have dropped over 20% in recent months on account of the ongoing semiconductor shortage, contributing to a 29% plummet in profits over the course of the past financial year. Furukawa said during an interview by Nikkei, quote, we're not considering it at this point for 2 reasons. In order to offer unique entertainment to a wide range of customers, we want to avoid pricing people out. Our competition is the variety of entertainment in the world, and we always think about pricing in terms of the value of the fun we offer. Nintendo will continue to sell 3 models: the standard model, the Switch Lite with reduced price, size, and features, and the OLED model. We'll work out the best strategy as we go along. We're doing our best to procure high-quality products at an appropriate price with an eye towards the next few years, end quote. The executive added that, quote, for the time being, our OLED model will continue to be less profitable than our other models. Costs have undoubtedly increased for shipping, not only by air but also by sea. We're thinking about what we can do, end quote. When it comes to sales targets, Furukawa remained fairly reserved, noting that, quote, all I can say is that we'll try to keep up with sales at the same pace. Having hit software also gives a boost to hardware. We have a lineup of new games that will allow us to take a crack at meeting our sales forecast, including Splatoon 3 coming out in September and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in November, end quote. It would be like... So there's been like discourse that I've tried to avoid as much as possible. Recently about that's like, what would like people like, oh man, like the console makers, like they should be raising their prices or whatever. I don't know if that's the discourse. Again, I've been trying to avoid it, but like it would be in the midst of a gigantic cost of living crisis for like the entire like world. It would be an interesting move to raise the price of the product that you sell. Like, and I get it, right? Like, you know, prices are going up on everything, but like you don't want to be the first one, right? Like Switch,
hell no.
PlayStation, Xbox, you don't want to be the first one to go, we're going to jack our prices up while you are struggling to pay for your energy bills.
Well, like, it would massively be stupid and idiotic if either of them did it. But on top of that, it's just like with everything that's going on in Taiwan right now, it's just like, guys, you're struggling to get your chips anyway, so they can get these consoles even built. So raising the prices would just be massively more idiotic because you probably don't even have that many consoles to be able to throw out to even sell them anywhere right now. And with recessions in America and the UK going to hit one in about October, apparently, it's like, well, there's no money.
Nobody has any money. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing. It's like nobody has any money. Like we've been through this with the we have to raise the prices of the games from $60 to $70 because the production costs of making video games has gone up massively, but the price hasn't gone up. Well, number one, yeah, it did in the rest of the world. It went up consistently. And number two, like we're not getting paid that much more money. Y'all, like we have to be able to afford to buy these things. I haven't bought, never mind at £70, because I haven't bought a single game at £70. I haven't bought a game at £60 since 2020, and that was Final Fantasy VII Remake. So like I made an exception for that because, as you might remember, I couldn't get a hold of it very easily, so I just bought the damn thing. If it had been any other game but Final Fantasy VII Remake, I wouldn't have spent that money. Like I don't remember the last time I bought a AAA full price game at full price. And that's because I'm not getting paid that much more money than I was a few years ago. So like let's not like talk about rising the cost of like all of the things, because at the end of the day I'm just going to be like even Furukawa notes in his statement or whatever it was to Nikkei, we're going to price people out of this and we don't want to do that. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. Like thank God that like this, the PlayStation and Microsoft, like they have their streaming services out, like Game Pass services, basically, because like not many people might not be able to buy their games as much right now because of what's going on and whatnot. So it's like they have to be very careful of what to do here. And if one of them raises the prices, there's no doubt the other one will raise their prices and everything like that. We know that, but it's just like you're just not reading the tea leaves whatsoever if you do this,
right? Yeah, basically, like, thank God the Xbox Series S exists, because I don't know when if it was just the Series X, like, I don't know when I would have been able to, like, jump on board with Xbox this gen.
Yeah.
But because there was a Series S, I was like, cool, I can buy that, and I did.
You did? Yeah, no doubt.
It's a very good console. But, yeah, and hopefully this means also that we can put to bed Switch Pro rumors for a few months, because they're driving me crazy.
That's never going to stop, and you know that.
I hate seeing a trend every few months when it's just like, for fucking God's sake, guys, we've been down this road so many times. Stop it. Jeff. Shut up, Jeff. I You know which Jeff I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. I don't want to hear it. I'm sick of hearing it.
It's not his fault that other sites just decide just to take what he says as the Lord coming down, giving all the news and everything. Every sites just come out and say it and just say, this person said this, so that means it's true. Even though he says it may not be true, but it's what I've heard, type of thing.
This is 100% true. Yes, I'm really reveling in that Silent Hill reveal. And then looking forward to playing on my Switch Pro. Like, I don't know. Oh dear, more. Nintendo of America receives its second labor complaint of the year. This is from Jeffrey Rousseau over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, a second labor complaint was filed against Nintendo of America, which alleges that a staffer faced retaliation for activity protected by the National Labor Relations Act, which is the NRLA. As reported by Axios, the case comes months after the platform holder and hiring company Aston Carter received a similar complaint. The NRLA labor law states, quote, the NRLA protects workplace democracy by providing employees in private sector workplaces the fundamental right to seek better working conditions and designation of representation without fear of retaliation, end quote. In response to April's complaint, the company said, quote, Nintendo is not aware of any attempts to unionize or related activity and intends to cooperate with the investigation conducted by the NRLB. Nintendo is fully committed to providing a welcoming and supportive work environment for all our employees and contractors. We take matters of employment very seriously, end quote. Excuse me. I think you're like, whatever you've had caught in your throat is like passed on to me somehow. Oh, here it comes. Round 2, baby.
He's back, baby. That means that's back.
During the month of April, an expose from Kotaku alleged that the Mario Maker maintained cyclical contract work for low wages, expected overtime, and lack of benefits. In May, IGN released a report in which Nintendo contractors criticized the company's culture and their treatment. Among the allegations, the contract staffers said they were doing the work of full-timers but got paid and treated worse.
Damn.
Smoke, fire, it's like,
that's what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like we had one complaint, but that's it, right? We're done. We're never done. Like, we're not done with that. Like,
Nintendo also this. You may not be aware of any attempts for unionization. They're coming.
Let's do it.
The unions are coming.
Unionize.
Yeah, like Nintendo, like seriously sort your shit out. Like we've heard this before from Nintendo type of thing. I think I know this is the second one this year, but I'm pretty sure we've heard it other times throughout the years and everything like that.
Is it really bad to say that I don't remember specifically because everything bleeds together? It's that's much true. Of it.
Yeah, there is that much of it, no doubt about it. Like, but Nintendo, like, come on, man, just sort your shit out, man. These are the people who create some of your best games out there. And like, you treating them like shit. I'm like, no, come on. Like, yeah, pay them right, work them well. That sounded wrong. Give them good shifts to work, like 9 till 5, which I'll be doing.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. Come on. It's just like,
do those things because they're good things. Like, you can make, like, the people who are working for you will work better if you treat them fairly and pay them a good wage and don't overwork them. It's wild. I know that's a wild concept. Like, if somebody who went from working 5 days a week to working 4 days a week, like, I get more done in 4 days a week than I do in 5 days a week because I just feel better for starters. Like, there's a certain point where it's like, people, when they're being overworked, will like stop being productive. Like, once they hit a certain point, and if don't start union busting, none of that shit, Nintendo. Don't be Starbucks. Don't be Activision. Just don't do it.
It worked so well for Activision, though. But
Fun
yeah,
times.
no, yeah, Nintendo sorted shit out.
Yeah.
Sorted shit out. I wonder if it's a culture issue though. Like, no, what I mean by that is from just because of like we going off like what the Asian culture is and everything like that. They are like to work, always to be busy, always doing something and everything like that. And I wonder if it's that type of thing. I'm not trying to defend it. That doesn't, and it sounds like I'm doing that. It's not what I mean, but I do wonder if maybe it's just like we are a Japanese company. We work this type of way. You're going to work this type of way, and it's a wrong thing to obviously try to enforce and imply on other companies and everything that you own if they're in it, especially in like different countries. But it's just like the rest of the world don't do this. Japan,
yeah, I mean, it's not acceptable in any part of the world. But
yeah,
like I don't know if it's a cultural issue, but it's a systemic issue. Like when the first one of this type of story broke many years ago, like it was always going to be followed by like stories at every like major company and probably even some smaller ones. In fact, definitely we've seen some smaller ones as well, because it's a systemic issue. Like the thing is, right, like the video game, by and large, the video game industry, like developers and big publishers and small publishers, are run by a certain type of person, or at least like for the most part, right? Especially historically, right? And so the way that they run things, right, is going to be like the same at a lot of different companies, right? Like you think about how many, like think about BioWare Magic as an example, right? Because we did that with Anthem and Mass Effect when we talked about those two games. Like think about all of the people who thought that was a great idea, or even the people who didn't think it was a great idea but worked through it. How many of those people then split off from BioWare to go and start their own companies? And how many of those people took that that approach to like a workplace or that workflow or whatever with them to their new company when they started that, and then it perpetuates itself. We've seen so many we've seen so many developers pop up out of like people who used to be like executives at Blizzard. And like, I'm not saying that those people specifically did anything wrong or were involved in any of the allegations that came out about Blizzard, but I'm going to stop there because I'm going to start insinuating things that I don't want to insinuate. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. I really do. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just the Nintendo, just sort your shit out. Let's get to the customer. This is Nintendo sort your shit out.
We're kind of in this sort of weird space as far as like the issues that we're currently facing up to in the games industry, where we're trying to tackle them as they come up, like the fucking Avengers. You know what I mean? Like we're not the pre-Avengers, we're the Avengers, as Tony Stark said in one of the Avengers films. It's like we're trying to tackle problems as they come up, like Ubisoft and or at least the people who are actually still bothered about stuff like that, like Ubisoft, Rockstar, Activision, like whack-a-mole. Whereas we need to like stop like trying to put out fires and start like tackling the systemic issues of why is this happening in the first place? Like what is causing this to happen at all of these companies? Okay, cool. We figured that out. Now how do we fix this? Like forget and like I don't mean like forget about the people who are suffering currently at these companies, or I just like forget about trying to like fix just Blizzard. How do we fix everything? And Blizzard, including Blizzard.
Yeah. Or Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard.
The whole damn
Activision
company.
Blizzard, Ubisoft, Quantic Extreme, Rockstar, NetherRealm, Naughty Dog. It's depressing how many of those I can say without thinking or looking it up, and how many I know I've missed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I was going to say State of Decay, and I was like, that's not the developer, that's the game. I can't remember the developer name off the top of my head. But yeah, we need to tackle it on a systemic level as opposed to just on an individual level. We need to do both, ideally, but
yeah, completely agree.
Anyway, speaking of fire,
Oh, this was fire. I won't lie.
Because the planet's burning. GameStop NFT creators in air quotes is suspended for selling NFTs of indie games that they didn't own. This is from Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer. He writes, an NFT minter on GameStop's newly launched NFT marketplace has been caught selling games they didn't make and had no authority to sell. As first reported by Ars Technica, the quote interactive NFTs end quote of the nifty arcade collection were being minted and sold without the creators' permission, quote, much less any arrangements for the creators to share in any crypto profits, end quote. GameStop has since confirmed that the person behind Nifty Arcade has been suspended, but Oz reports that he is still, quote, holding on to the tens of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency he made by selling those NFTs before the suspension, end quote. Furthermore, the unlicensed games are still also fully accessible from GameStop's servers. Nifty Arcade creator Nathan Eller reportedly told Oz, quote, if people find value in these NFTs, that's a bonus, but my intent is to create and showcase games that are playable within NFT markets and within NFT wallets. Should someone want the convenience of playing the game directly from their wallet or their own profile page on the marketplace without having to navigate to mine, then they're welcome to buy a copy, end quote. It's not... Elo insists the games were taken from, quote, open source game repositories approved for commercial use, end quote, and that one of the games, Galactic had an unlicensed tag. But Oz was able to discover that Warm Nom Nom's license, for example, clearly prohibited commercial use. Elo has since confirmed that they, quote, never sought the necessary permission from the original creators before selling them, end quote. Galactic Wars creator Borja Detainer told Oz, quote, this person didn't contact me to ask me anything. He just took my game and sold it. If you want to profit from my work, I think you should at least ask. I've been working on video games for years, but Volcano Bites is not something I do for money. It's my personal project, something I do mainly for love. My income is not that of a real business, but that's my work, and it shouldn't be exploited by anyone without my permission, end quote. Elo says his account on the GameStop NFT storefront has been suspended, quote, until they have the IP issues related to my initial collection, end quote. GameStop has yet to respond to requests for comment.
Oh, they ain't gonna comment either.
Yes, an IP issue. Something like that,
IP issue, no doubt about it. Oh, GameSpot. Remember when they became incredibly rich again early at the beginning of this year, was it?
The meme stock. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how funny is that?
I remember listening to Jim Sterling's podcast, James Stephanie Sterling's podcast at the time, where they were trying to like understand what was happening, even though it's like stupid, but like it was a very entertaining podcast to listen to. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and now they just like, yo, let's get into NFT, guys. It's like, yeah, it's
what
the
can
new
we do
hit
with
thing.
all this money? Let's pull a Square Enix.
Let's pick an. I found an NFT. What is that? It's a man jumping off a building. Oh wait, what?
Oh yeah,
cool. Let's sell that. Let's sell that one. Yeah. Well, is it off of anything that we know of that's happened in the last 20 years? No, not at all. Can't remember when this happened. Nope. Really.
This doesn't look like an iconic image of a past tragedy in any way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that was just deplorable when I saw that. But yeah, and then you just all this little shit around just like I'm gonna say the words from Skill Up, what he says about NFTs. Like, he's brilliant. Go and check his out. NFTs, no fucking thanks.
No
okay,
fucking
just
thanks.
Fuck off NFTs.
The only NFTs I'm interested in are nice fucking titties.
That's it.
I don't know what more to say.
We're done for the night, guys. Bye. Let's go.
January 1st, 2022, when we all thought maybe this year was going to be a better year for the industry, the president of Square Enix declared the end of fun. And ever since then, we bring up NFTs, and I'm like, well, this seems important to talk about because there's literally some fucking dude stealing games and selling them as NFTs on GameStop's marketplace. That seems important, and maybe we should talk about it. And also, the planet's dying, Cloud. But like at the same time, it's like, well, what can I say about NFTs? If you don't know they're a scam at this point, I don't know how to help you. Like,
the only good thing is that NFTs are dying. They are losing right now. Thank fucking God, they are dying. If anyone's thought they got into it or something like that to try and make a quick buck, you lost.
It's a grift. You're already too late.
Lost. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you've lost. Bye-bye. Don't come back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah. Yeah. But Gamescom at the same time, how are you still going? Like, that money you guys got must have been enough to keep on going for a couple of years. Because
like, the thing is, like, GameStop is so, like, perplexing as a company. Because, like, high street stores are obviously, like, or, like, just stores in general. Like, you know, physical buildings that sell things. Like, that aren't, like, supermarkets and stuff. Are, like...
They're dying.
They're in a tough spot. They're dying.
Yeah.
And there is a way to like have a physical store and an online presence and like combine the two and like, you know, it still exists as an online store because there are many people who still want to shop in physical locations. But GameStop seem to go out of their way as a company to do the worst possible thing they can think of every time I read about them, which is quite frequently. I'm not going to lie. For a company that exists in the United States, and I don't, I still learn a lot about GameStop over the course of the year.
All we hear is GameStop shit. Don't go there. Don't do this.
we had this the GameStop that was it you who was with me on the podcast where we talked about that GameStop that like all the staff walked out on because like
can't remember,
someone got fired, so everybody else just quit on the spot.
Respect.
And that was just one of the many.
Try selling games now, motherfuckers.
Right. It's like you can have a business model that is good, even in the 2020s. Like I genuinely believe that. Like for like a physical like stores, or you can be GameStop and somehow still exist. Like when most people talk about your company and the majority of like what they're thinking and saying is, how is this this company's still going? Like surprise or bemusement. Yeah. Like maybe like, I don't know, like pick a different lane, like take a different direction.
It's like you finding out someone like a really old like celebrity, and then you realize, they're still alive. Damn, we haven't heard from him in a long time. I thought they were dead. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just like, but that's what GameSpot is. They just come out of nowhere. You forget about them, and then they come back and say, wait, you guys still alive? You're still breathing?
Wait.
What the hell?
They're still making Fast and Furious movies? You know, like something like that, right?
No, what? They're making 2 more of those.
I know, right? Like, I watched the first one of those in a cinema, and they were stealing VHSs. And I was in high school.
Yep.
And it's still happening.
And now they went to space.
How is this franchise still happening? I don't understand. I mean, fair play to everybody involved, but yeah.
They're making money. They're making money.
They're making that money. Speaking of, no.
That money?
It doesn't really work. Deck 9 confirms Life is Strange won't return to an episodic model. This is from Justin Carr over at GameDeveloper.com. He writes, whatever future awaits the Life is Strange franchise from developer Deck 9, episodic releases won't be part of it. Speaking to Rock Paper Shotgun, senior narrative designer Philip Lawrence admitted that he couldn't imagine the team going back to the format after releasing its 2021's Life is Strange True Colors. The original Life is Strange, created by Dontnod, is a its prequel Before the Storm, Deck 9's first dance with the series, and sequel Life is Strange 2 were released episodically, often with a month or more in between releases. For games of its type, which include several series from Telltale Games, the fractured release schedule can be a hurdle. On the production side, Lawrence found making True Colors as a single game was easier on the writing team and allowed for them to hone in on making the story as best as it could be. Quote, we didn't have that awkwardness of the episodic model where you're rushing to production on scripted content for the first episode and then moving on to the next one. This way is a lot more coherent and organic, end quote. The story of True Colors about Alex Chen, who discovers she has empathetic powers, Still can't get over the fact that like the world is in such a state that empathy can be considered a superpower. Was built with a 5-chapter format in mind. For Deck 9, that format let the developers continue giving players, quote, water cooler moments with the community, end quote, a highlight for the franchise. Another benefit was that players wouldn't be burned by the inconsistent release schedule of earlier games. Lawrence admitted, quote, it's partly about player choice. If players want to step back, they can. But for those who would be frustrated by the episodic release pattern, we save them from those frustrations, end quote.
No doubt about it, like everyone knows my love of True Colors, Life is Strange True Colors. What that game did for me personally last year was well, it changed me forever and everything. But
great game.
Great game indeed. But I think there's no doubt about it. I think I had more that connected to the game more and more because it was the full game.
Yep.
Yes, they were in chapter modes, and I could have just done one episode at a time, not smash through it right away like I did.
We both smashed through it.
Yeah, we really did. Yeah, but yeah, there's no doubt about it. The Gone has the days of the Telltale episodic release thing every 3 months or whatever. It is gone. But doing it how they did it with True Colors, like giving you the full game but in chapters, I think worked really well.
Yeah, I feel like the episodic model in terms of like you can build a game like narratively through like the narrative in the game design be like episode by episode, right? Like Alan Wake was structured like a TV show. Like there were 6 episodes in the game, and like it was exactly like there would be the big cliffhanger at the end of an episode, but then you didn't wait like months for the next episode or whatever. You could just keep playing the game. And like Life is Strange True Colors was exactly the same. And I think that from a structural point of view can really work for a game. But I want your opinion on something here, because like I think the episodic model, right? Like the actual like, oh, we're gonna put one episode up, and then it'll be like 1 month, 2 months, and then episode 2 will come out. Like, I feel like that only ever worked in the entire history of like it happening in video games. I think it only ever really worked twice. Like when it really worked, which was the first season of The Walking Dead was the obvious one. Like every time an episode came out, that game blew up on social media. And the second one, I feel like, was the original Life is Strange. And I feel like for every other episodic game that happened before and after, I feel like it never really, like, it probably harmed them more than it helped them. that was their release schedule.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. There's no doubt about it. The only other time I can think of that worked reasonably well for was when Not released Tell Me Why, and it was like episode 1 was this week, then the week after was episode 2, and the week after that was the final episode. Sure. There was only 3 episodes and everything. That one I thought was all right. I really enjoyed that because like, and that's I love I don't want to comment on the quality of the games. Like I've loved episodic games like Wolf Among Us and stuff, but I don't know, it just feels like those are the only 2 times I can remember the episodic model working in the game's favor, because I didn't start playing either of those games from the first episode. But like once I learned about them, The Walking Dead and Life is Strange, like from people having played like episode 1 or episode 2 and finding out that like the next episode was like a couple of weeks away or stuff, that's when I jumped on the boat, and I know I wasn't the only person. Whereas like I never really did that with any other of the episodic games. Like, in fact, some of them, like Game of Thrones, I remember you could download the first episode of Telltale's Game of Thrones, and I did, and I played it, and I was like, never played any more of it. Like, I had no interest in continuing that game. That happened a few times. Yeah, I think it became a double-edged sword by the end, there's no doubt about it. Like, I kept going for a while, like I did the first season of Walking Dead, season 2 of Walking Dead, season 3 of Walking Dead. I have not played season 4 of Walking Dead yet. That's something I intend to rectify when I've moved.
That's an interesting case though, because that so many things went wrong for that game. Like yeah,
no doubt about it. And I did like Wolf Among Us.
I did Wolf Among Us all at once. Yeah. It's like Batman. I loved the first season of Batman, the Telltale Batman, but I played it all at once at the end of the year.
Yeah. I never touched the Batman. Never touched it.
It was really good. At a time when the Arkham games were around, and they're very focused on Batman. It was nice to play a game that had just as much focus on Bruce Wayne.
That's fair. I did it with Tales of the Borderlands. I mean, I loved that personally. I thought it was a really good show. And I did it for Life is Strange 1, but but I didn't do it for Life is Strange 2 because I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if I waited until it just all came. I think I was hitting the time of like, I'm now getting a little bit bored. I'd rather just play it all at once and everything. And I think that's what I did when it came out, when it was all out. And then, yeah, like when the True Colors came out, I was just like, boom. Fantastic, all out. So, yeah, I think episodic, I think it can maybe come back, maybe, but I think it's just like, I think it's like the 3-month spread or even sometimes 6-month spread for episodes. That just, you need to stay basically hot when it comes to it. So that's why I think it worked with Tell Me Why. Like you get one episode 1 week, one came out, and there was the week after, and there was the week after. So basically, the game was complete when the first episodes come out. They might have tweaked, did a couple of still QA'd episode 2 and 3 before they fully went out and everything. But yeah, the game was pretty much done for that. So yeah,
that's fair. No, it's I just thought it was an interesting discussion to have in relation to like your favorite game of last year, one of my top 10 games of last year, and games that we've loved in the past. And when I saw the news story, that was my thought, was just like, how many times did the episodic game model actually really work? Like, if we're being brutally honest.
Yeah. Well, the trend even said, like, I think when No Clip did the documentary about Telltales, when obviously the whole thing with Telltale happened, it's like the model was shown that right after the first season of Walking Dead, the episodic model was not working properly for them anymore because the hype was no longer there.
Yeah.
And everything, because it just kept going down when it came to sales and everything for it, which was a real shame because obviously some of the games were really good.
And some of the stuff that they were working on, like they were working on a Stranger Things game and they were working on, a new Wolf Among Us game. It's like some of that's coming back in one form or another, but some of it's not, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, The Walking Dead was such a moment in time, and I feel like Telltale spent the rest of their existence trying to capture lightning in a bottle. And I feel like a few other developers or publishers who had seen what The Walking Dead did also tried to capture that lightning in a bottle, and it's just not going to happen, not to that level ever again.
No doubt about it. There's definitely, and I think, like, obviously after that documentary, the lifestyle and not lifestyle, the shifts and days, the work ethic for that was completely broken and everything like that. And if how Deck 9 did True Colors made it a lot more smoother and a lot more easy for them to obviously sort out the story and create the game and everything and made it a lot more smoother, that's pro and that's fantastic. That's what we want to hear.
So Life is Strange is a great game. I loved it. And Life is Strange 2, I haven't played it. Again, it's that episodic model that tripped me up, but like I know you've played it and you think it's a fantastic game, but like for me, and I'm guessing for you as well, and probably other people, like Life is Strange True Colors was like a step above everything that I've experienced from the Life is Strange franchise before. And I just wonder if that's a testament to them dropping the episodic model and working on it like this.
Probably. There was no doubt about it that I think the story for True Colors was a lot more tight compared to season 1 and 2. So
yeah, I feel that definitely. It was nice to like. The problem with the episodic models was like, apart from The Walking Dead, which was like for whatever reason that game was like magic. But like,
yeah, it really was.
Playing like another like episodic like model game as the episodes were coming out, it could be difficult to remember what you needed to remember, like 2-3 months, like 1, 2, or 3 months or whatever, however long it was later from like the last episode to the next episode. It's like you build narrative momentum with this cliffhanger in episode 2, but by the time I'm getting to download and play episode 3, it's like all that momentum's gone, right? Like, if there had been a gap between episode 1 and episode 2 of Life is Strange True Colors, based on what happens at the end of episode 1 and what happens in episode 2, it's like, I don't know if the emotional, like, through line would have been there.
Yeah, I agree.
And then that would have impacted the entire rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Except Life is Strange True Colors would have survived purely on Steph, so...
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about that. Looking forward to doing our first Words About Games book review when that book comes out.
I'll listen to the Audible.
You're going to listen to it. I'm going to read it. It's going to be a great time. Games out this week.
Go for it. Games out
It's Monday. You know what that means. We're doing this slightly differently as well.
You've made it a lot more easy for yourself.
Yeah, I'm done. Well, it's easier like Games Out this week was me reading a bunch of store descriptions for games, which is valuable. Like, you know, I and other people who have watched this part of the podcast have found games based on that. But also it's just me talking for 5 minutes, and then by the time I get to the end, you just want to move on to the next thing. Whereas, like, I always wanted like this to be like, here's the games coming out this week, and there'll be maybe there's something that pops out, and we can just chat about that for a couple of minutes, and that's what I want to do with this. So I'm not reading the descriptions out anymore. Me and Moody have got all the links to all the games, and we can click on them or not click on them if we want. Like, and if stuff pops out to us, we'll go, yeah, this looks cool because X, Y, and Z. But other than that, yeah. Again, it's talking more. It's to get us talking more about video games. That's my objective of 2020, the last half of 2022. So Games Out this week. On August 15th, Fashion Police Squad is coming to PC. One of the very few games in history that Moody introduced me to.
No more. It's published by No More Robots, so I had to. Yeah, I'm very into that. Mobful Games. Definitely give that a check out, guys.
On August 16th, the discussion thing was supposed to come at the end, but when I saw your little smirk when I said Fashion Police Squad, I was like, I'm just going to interject really quickly. August 16th, we got 3 games coming out. Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur King, comes to Switch and PC. Melatonin comes to PC. And Rollerdrome comes to PlayStation and PC. Then on August 17th, Kirby's Dream Buffet comes to Switch. Then on August 18th, we got 3 more games. Thymesia comes to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. We're just talking about episodic games. We Are OFK Episode 1 comes to PlayStation, Switch, and PC. And Cursed to Golf comes to Xbox, Switch, and PC. And lastly, on August 19th, Madden NFL 23 comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. We Are OFK's episodes are coming out weekly. Just based on that long discussion we just had.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff. Like Fashion Police Squad, obviously, I'm looking at that because Moody was like, oh, look at this game. And I was like, oh, shit. I think I made it an indie game of the week when you shared it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. You did, yeah.
Yeah. I'm always amenable. Like, nobody uses that tab apart from me and very occasionally you. And I'm like, if more people drop stuff in there, like, I know it's like Amy's private Discord server that she uses for Words About Game stuff, but like you can just drop whatever you want in there. I don't give a shit.
That's true.
If you're in the Discord, if I have invited you into that Discord server, you free reign. that was the point. That was the point of keeping it private. But yeah, there's some cool games. Melatonin is like this chill puzzle game that looks really, really interesting. It was one of the Steam Next Fest demos that I didn't get round to because I played 15 of them, and eventually I had to cut myself off.
Just so you know, the link to Rollerdrome is also Melatonin.
Yeah, that was gonna happen. We're working out the kinks. It's fine. Rollerdrome. I got it.
I'm trying to find out. I was like, what is this game?
Weird.
What's that's melatonin? This doesn't sound like it.
They're all melatonin, and I'm like, I tricked you.
Oh, this one. Okay. I feel
like I fixed the link, and now you found it.
From Private Division.
Yeah, it's the Ollie World developers. Other game.
Okay.
It's like an online combat skating thing.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
I think it's gonna be one of those games, right? That like hits hard with the people it's aimed at, and then washes over everybody else. Like strategy games.
Fair.
I mean, that's all that's really blowing up in my face. You know what I mean? Like, this game, I know all of these games by name and by reputation.
Yeah.
Thymesia, like, I I get nervous around any game that is trying to be a From Software game that isn't made by From Software.
That's fair.
Because it's like...
That's massively fair.
It's like, do you understand what makes that game good or not? I don't know, because I've been burned so many times in the past. Looking at you, Lords of the Fallen. Oh, Dark Souls is good because it's really slow. That was the lesson they apparently took away from it. It's hard and it's slow.
It's hard.
And it's
slow. Oh my goodness.
That was unplanned. Shall we move on?
Yeah, go for it.
It's time for OpenCritic Head-to-Head. This is the game we play every single goddamn week, no matter what you might have heard otherwise, where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Shut up, Moody. Weeks I've been waiting to say that. That was a Star Trek reference, so I'll get mad. Shit. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game, sometimes more. Whoever gets as closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, myself, Moody, and Vitz all tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Cult of the Lamb. And we were all pretty much in the right ballpark, so congratulations to all of us. I guessed it we're getting 83, Moody guessed it we're getting 85, Vitz guessed it we're getting 87. The time of recording, Cult of the Lamb has an OpenCritic average of 85, which means Moody gets 2 points and pits the scores to Amy 15, Moody 17, guests 3.
I'm in a roll of getting the score on point, like.
Well, as Avril pointed out in her last appearance, it's because you kept saying the same bloody number over and over again.
It fucking worked for 3 of the games.
Game Freaks, use different numbers. Fucking hell. Do you think like websites are just broken and it's like we can't actually change the score at the bottom of these, so they all just say 8?
Something like that.
The guy who changes the review score picture at the bottom of the reviews has quit. Nobody knows how to do it. I'm just joking, but yeah, congrats. I mean, we all went on a bit of a rampage, but you are on a huge rampage.
You even tactically went, I'm just going to squeeze in there to block Moody off.
No, I just did that because it was funny.
I know.
Because the last time I tried to do that, you came in and you were like, oh shit, I put the wrong scores in.
That's true, like, yeah.
Which made sense. Given what you put the score next to the game, and I was like, really? Okay. That's weird. Yeah, cool. This week, we are trying to guess the OpenCritic average of Rollerdrome. The skateboarding action game, multiplayer game from Roll7 and Private Division. Made a splash with the PlayStation.
Wasn't it Xbox?
No, it was a PlayStation. It's coming out on Xbox.
Oh, yeah, it's on PlayStation. It's not coming out on Xbox. Yeah, just realized it's a PlayStation.
I think it's going to go in PS Plus Extra.
Probably. Why not? 80.
It's fine. I wasn't going to guess that anyway. If you get one more 2-pointer off of the back of 80, I'm banning 80 for the rest of the year.
I'll just go 79 then.
At least it's not fucking 80.
You can't have any more 2-pointers, movie. Fuck off.
As many 2-pointers as you want. I just want them to stop being the same number.
This one I'm really unsure about. This really could go either way.
Yeah,
it's a multiplayer game. Those ones don't really do that great when it comes to critics, but it's like what you
sometimes
said,
they go and they do.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, I don't know. I really don't know.
It's the neon white situation where it's like it hit with the select group of people who this game was made for.
Yeah, and it's like that.
Also, you look really freaky without glasses on.
Oh, thank you.
I am not used to this. It scares me. It's like that time Phil shaved his beard off.
I just shaved a few days ago as well, and I needed to. I shaved and just went, oh, I feel so cool then. Something like that, yeah. But where was I? Can't remember.
You were saying,
the Ubisoft game that was a roller skating one, which I think they discontinued.
That's the Jeff Grubb rumor.
Oh, okay. That one wasn't favorable. Yeah, but it's also they did Ollie Ollie World, which did really, really well, even though I didn't really click with that game.
I didn't play it. I was never going to play. Like, I appreciated that game was good for people who like that kind of thing, and I appreciate the diversity options, but I'm not a skateboarding game person. I'm trying to do the thing where I don't play games that I'm not really interested in. So, but I did buy it on Fantasy Critic, and it did really well for me.
It did very well for you. Yes, it did. So, where are you going, Amy?
With Rollerdrome, like you say, it's like all of them are by definition impossible to like pin down and guess, right? But like Rollerdrome, I feel like you're right. It's on a seesaw. I feel like it could go either way. Like this could be the next big multiplayer hit, because of just how different it is from another battle royale or another first-person shooter, or it could miss, and it might not even be the game's fault. Like, it could just miss because the servers don't work when the game comes out.
Oh, pray to God the servers are working.
Look at like Destruction All Stars that came out last year, and I played it at launch because it was a PS Plus game, and like there was like something there in the game that I was like, there's potential in this game, but right now, like at release, it was okay, but nothing more. And now, from what I've heard of people who've been playing it, it's picked up quite a lot. And I feel like you see that trajectory with a lot of online games. It's like once you start getting players through the door playing it and giving you like constant streams of feedback, you can really start to improve the game. Unless you're Ubisoft and you just cancel it after like 2.5 months.
That's true.
But I'm gonna go 77. It was the number I was gonna go for before you said 80 anyway. So
sweet.
But yeah, like if it goes to PS Plus Extra, because I'll have it for at least a month because I got it for cat game. I might give it a look. I'm always looking for like cool, interesting, different multiplayer shooters. That's how I ended up playing Apex for 6 months.
It's not that we have nothing. I was going to say
the only other thing I had to do was replay Mass Effect Andromeda and make a video about it. It slowly changed the course of my entire YouTube channel. Because I was like, I have to defend this game because I don't know why. I just felt like it. Yeah. Nothing better to do apart from build an island in Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in lockdown, I'd legit spent 12 hours one day playing Animal Crossing.
That's
like, those were the days, man. Like when I felt like I could have the time to just spend 12 hours doing one thing. Like,
that's cool.
I miss not having to work but still getting paid. That was nice. That was nice.
Do you want to have a talk about Fantasy Critic?
Yeah, we can do if you want.
Yeah.
I just need to get onto the website. Did something happen? Oh, it's logged me out. It's logged me out on there again. So yeah, you can just talk about what you want to talk about while I log in.
Well, I've deleted one of my games, obviously.
Obviously.
Because I can't delete anymore now. It looks like it. I've hit my limit.
You were like when you said, "Oh, I filled my team up." I was like, until one of your games gets delayed.
Yeah. It's funny. I only have like $1.
I see you, Moody.
Yeah. I was so annoyed when I didn't realize any of these two games got delayed. So I was just like until recently, and I was just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And obviously, I heard about Avatar, which is now that tells me. That game even early next year, that's the end of that I will not be surprised if that game get pushed to 2024 for when Avatar 3 comes out.
And season as well, which a lot of games got delayed. Just this
I was
week.
disappointed in that season 1. Yeah, I was disappointed in the season. But I won't lie though, Keith, you are screwed. Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta.
I mean, like,
I won't even play that fucking game, but I know it's gonna get me a ton of points.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. The game that I don't want to name has been delayed, and then like on everybody else's teams, like Forspoken, Metal Slug Tactics, they both got delayed. Your 2 games got delayed. Like, and this all happened in the past week?
Yeah.
It's that time of year, I guess. But like, there's a reason I've been like really, really slowly acquiring games in like the last couple of months, because I'm just like, I gotta be sure, right? I've got to be sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Right now, I have 1 spot left with $1 left.
So I mean, that's why you kept the dollar. I have 2 spots left, and I have two drops available to me. But I'm already looking at 2 games and thinking I'm probably going to need to drop those 2 games. Although the fact that one of them is now going to be at Gamescom next week tells me maybe I don't need to drop one of them.
Hopefully.
So we'll see. Like I've been keeping an eye on like games and stuff. Like I took a bit of a risk with Thirsty Suitors, but I knew the
was that delayed?
No, well they still haven't announced a release date for it, but it was a Fall Guys situation. So I went for Thirsty Suitors before the Annapurna Interactive showcase, because I was like, if I wait until afterwards and it hits headlines again, someone might just come along and take it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I need to get it before everybody remembers it exists. I did that with Fall Guys. Like I got it right before E3. Like, and I was just banking on them saying it's coming out this year.
Well, I expect to be, I think, 3rd, if not hopefully 2nd.
I think you can get
by the end of my next 2 games.
I think the difference maker, depending on what you get, it could be surprises and stuff. I didn't expect Neon White to be my top scoring game of the year so far.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I think the difference maker in terms of whether where you end up, if you don't rocket to the top, will be God of War. I think Elfie's like got a lot of games that haven't really given him any points, but she also got Elden Ring. She also has God of War. So that's a nice little 1-2 punch for anyone.
She's barely going to get anything, I think, for the rest of the games that are coming out and everything. Personally, I don't mean that in a nasty way to those games. The only ones I think she's going to get high on is Plague's Tale, Requiem, and obviously God of War.
Well, yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be enough for her to keep her 2nd or even 3rd, for me.
She's gotten a couple of games, like, she's gotten a lot of 84s, actually. Stray, Moss, Lost in Play. Midnight Suns has been delayed, and that does not showing up as delayed on her team yet. But yeah, Hellblade 2 is not coming out. Little Devil Inside has disappeared off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
I think Darkside could be 10 points potentially.
There's no doubt about it. Like,
just based on the previous games in that pseudo series, but like I think she could end up scoring like 10-15 points on another game, and I genuinely think Choo Choo Charles might then just come around and kick her in the face because that's a counter pick. And that's a Halloween game. If that game doesn't come out at Halloween, that's wild. Like I'm sure that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah, no doubt. Like the worst thing for me is that I don't know why I didn't do what I did last year. It was like I locked in games that I knew were coming out, like you did like this
I've
year.
Been doing.
Yeah,
it's like I learned from you, which was you learning from me the year before.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to do what I did last year. You
did this year what I did last year. You try to showboat. You try to be too clever, and that's what I did last year, and that's what really fucked me up.
Yeah, because I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that do not have release dates.
Yeah.
We haven't even heard anything for Shovel Knight Dig.
I know, right?
And I was like expecting that's going to drop and I'm going to get easy 85 on that or something like that, because it's fucking Shovel Knight, for God's sakes.
Shovel Knight is an excellent game. I have a Shovel Knight amiibo. Not the actual Shovel Knight, the Spectre Knight. Somewhere back there. Because that was, weirdly enough, I don't know where I got it from, but I have like the entire Shovel Knight Treasure Trove collection on Steam, which I didn't realize. And I downloaded it to play Spectre, the Spectre, the expansion that was about Spectre Knight.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being on my Xbox and me, like top 10 games of the year, because the year that I did that list, a lot of my games of the year came out on not Xbox. But it was a really fantastic game. So like, yeah, Shovel Knight's awesome. But yeah, I've literally been like in my head, and I know I'm giving everybody the correct strategy to play next year. Is I have 4 drops, which means I can have 4 games that I am unsure about, and the rest I have to be reasonably sure about when they're coming out.
Yeah, no.
And now I have, at the moment, I have 2, so it's like I can have 2 games where it's like I don't know if you're actually going to come out, and everything else has to be I'm pretty certain you're coming out.
Yeah. Next year's gonna be a bloodbath when it comes to voting.
Next year's going to be a bloodbath because again, we're in the situation we thought we were going to be in at the beginning of this year. Next year, and I mean, I invited Vitz to come play because he plays Fantasy Critic.
Oh, no.
So I was like, let's go. Come on, everybody.
You mad woman.
Everybody jump in. It's good. It's fun. Fantasy Critic's fun.
Well, hopefully Joe can join us and this time be able to stick around because, like...
Yeah, he's had a lot of stuff going on this year, though. So it's like fair play.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
I wish he hadn't locked in Splatoon 3, though, because then I could have had it. I was going to draft that fucking game, man. I was going to draft that fucking game.
Can't you delete him?
I can, but I don't want to.
But he's not going to do anything.
I don't care.
It's up to you at the end of the day.
He might still finish 5th, Moody. At the rate everything is going, he might actually not finish last. So I'm going to leave him in there.
So wait, you're going to wait until Russell goes above him, and then you're just going to delete Keith to put Russell bottom again.
Mate.
That's what I would do. He's
currently, right, points projected, right? And I am aware that Keith still has a few games to pick up, like me. Joe is predicted to finish 4th. He drafted 8 games, bought 1 the first week, and hasn't and has left. What does that make? He's left 9 games. Spaces filled, and he might finish mid-table. I'm not deleting him just for that reason alone. And also the fact that like it's there if he wants to come back.
That is fair.
But yeah, should be an interesting end of the year because I'm like I said months and months ago. I said the only person I'm worried about, Moody, looking at all the teams, is you. I know you were like down the bottom at the time because none of your games had come out. Your games are coming out thick and fast right now, man.
I know, bloody. I did not expect Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to get me in at 89. I was like, wow.
It's a big release. I'm actually looking forward to it. So I played Kirby this week. I completely forgot. I should have talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. But I played Kirby for a bit, and then I've got Live Alive as well. And I'm hoping against Xenoblade because Tori's playing that. She is loving it. It's one of the best review games of the year. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should play this because it sounds awesome. But yeah.
True. It's true.
Video games, what a concept. Anyway, I'm going to call it there because I think I'm stuck to the chair. Like I think like the sweat has gone through the back of my t-shirt, and I'm gonna have to extract myself. I also need to clean up. The light fell down. That's it for episode 316 of the Words About Games podcast. Do you have anything to add to the ending of that?
Not at all. I'm back, baby.
And we were all glad to see you. But all that's left to say for now is bye.
God, Google, for God's sake, give us Dark Thing Man.